How's it guys? So welcome to the stream. In the stream, we're gonna be going over a lot of updates. Obviously, as you guys know, the market has been quite bearish. So I actually want to speak about what's been happening in the market. So let's take a look at Bitcoin first, and then we'll start to look at some other coins. But if you guys want any coins to be analyzed, just put them in the chat, and then I'll be going over looking at Bitcoin on the daily time frame. What has actually happened? Well, obviously yesterday we had that push down to this key level here, which is at 26,800. We tapped into that zone, and what actually happened is we had a bounce. Okay, so due to CPR, we had an initial pump. So we had a pump of around about it was around about a 2.5% pump, and then after that, we actually dumped from that level back down to the 26,800 zone. Okay, the reason why we actually dumped to that level was based on the fact that the US government actually sold over $200 million worth of Bitcoin. So that obviously had a very big impact on the market. So what I'll be looking for Bitcoin is a potential short position if we break that level. Okay, so on the higher time frames, I am looking for a move back down to 25K. And the reason is because you can see we have tapped into the zone multiple times, and once we actually get a daily candle closure below the zone, then we can take sales back down to 25K. Okay, so thing that I'm looking at. So yeah, let's see what happens. If you guys do have any questions, but I will be just analyzing pretty much every other chart just so you guys can go over them. So if you look at Bitcoin on the lower time frame here, let's take a look on the 4-hour chart. So if you have a look at the 4-hour, there we go. Yeah, I think that's happening here. So if you look at the 4-hour chart, price is still trading below this trend line, okay? So that's kind of why I'm still on the bearish side. The only reason why I wouldn't be bullish is because we haven't. It can obviously take a move to the upside, but once we break 27,250, then that's when I'll be looking at a potential short. Okay, but at the moment, I'm currently just waiting for a setup. If you look at the 15-minute chart, you can see prices still. If you look at the 15-minute chart, you can see prices still trading in this small little downtrend on the 15-minute. Okay, so until that really happens, then obviously, I'm not going to be doing much. So the happens, then obviously, I'm not going to be doing much. So that's kind of why I'll be looking at the other coins. Okay, and that is the next in the chat. Just put it there. Just put it in the chat, and I will be going over those. So essentially, also now for the dollar, what you have to look at for the dollar is what is happening. Is it going up or is it going down? And because the dollar is actually coming up, it's obviously pushing the price of crypto down. Okay, so we do have this trend line over here. Okay, so this is the trend line that the dollar index is obviously respecting. Okay, and if price actually closes above this level, then we're probably going to see a massive dump for crypto to crypto. So whatever happens to the dollar, the opposite happens to crypto. So just be aware of that. And it is approaching this trend line, which is why I'm more on the bearish side of things. So yeah, that's the current situation for the dollar, and that's why I'm typically bearish for the current time being. Okay. But there is this chart that I'm looking at for Chainlink. So when you're looking at Chainlink on the daily chart, you can see that price is obviously respecting this trend line. So essentially, this is the level that price is obviously respecting, and then we actually got to move back down to the 6.471 zone. Okay, And this level is the level that I would be looking at a potential short position. Okay, so if price closes below this level, if price closes below 6.462, I will take a short back down to this level, which is our most recent support zone. Okay, and all you need to do is put your stop loss above the previous high, and your risk to reward is around about 2.5. So it's not too bad. It is a decent trade and it's something that I am willing to take. On the higher time frame, it's obviously a very, very nice trade to take. It's around about a 6% move. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm looking at. We might be able to take this within the stream. So essentially, I'm waiting for this closure here. So if price closes below the zone at 6.462, then I'll take some sells back down to $6. Okay. So yeah, that's Chainlink. Okay. So this is a setup that I have been waiting for the last couple of days, and it's only kind of been printing at the moment. Okay. So at the moment, it's looking quite good. We'll be looking at this sell position for Chainlink. So I would keep an eye out on this. Obviously, we might be able to take this in the session, but it is 52 minutes away from the 4-hour closure. So if the 4-hour candle does close bearish, then we will take the setup. Yeah. Then if you want to take a look at Uniswap, so Uniswap obviously looking bearish as well. This is on the 5-minute chart. If we look on the higher time frames, okay. So if we just remove all of the indicators and everything, what is actually happening here? Price is coming back down on the 4-hour chart. Okay, so prices, it pumps up to this level, and now it's looking like we're coming back down to the lows at 4.936. Okay, but what I've been looking at on the 5 minutes and the 15 minutes is something quite interesting. Okay, so this is more of a lower time frame play. So essentially, I will be taking sells below this level at around about 5.094. Okay, but we need to wait for a closure from this level. Okay, so if price closes below this zone, then I'll take some sells for Uniswap. But if it doesn't close below here, then obviously it's not going to be valid, right? So yeah, at the moment there's not much I am really looking at. It's kind of more just waiting for price action to occur. Okay, but yeah, those are the setups that I'm looking at the moment. If you guys do have any coins you want me to go over, just put them in the chat and I will go over those. But essentially, it looks like we are getting a bounce from this level. So if you take a look at the Bitcoin in the lower time frames, just have a look here. We could potentially look at a long position here. We are going to be looking for a potential long position, but the thing is, I am bearish at the moment. So the thing is, when you are bearish, you want to be looking for setups that are responding to your outcome, right? So you can see with Bitcoin, price is still respecting this trend line. If we do get a break of this trend line, then it looks like we might be able to catch a long position back up to this level here. Okay. Or a potential break. So if it breaks this level, then we will look at a potential pump back up to the zone. But if it doesn't break the zone, then obviously it's going to come back down. So I'm more on the bearish side, but obviously if we do get a break on the 5-minute chart, then we can take a long position at this level, okay? But like I said earlier, overall we are bearish on the higher time frame. So we kind of want to be waiting for price action to show the price coming down, okay? And then, for example, let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is quite interesting, okay? So I'm going to be looking at a potential sell below this zone. So if you look at Ethereum on this time frame, right, on the daily chart, you look at Ethereum on the daily chart, what level is price at currently? It's currently at the support zone, okay? So what are we looking at here is if we break this level here on the 4-hour chart, or potentially the 6-hour chart. So the 6-hour chart is closing in 48 minutes, and if this closes below here, then I'll take this setup for Ethereum. Okay, so if price closes below this level over here, you put your stop loss above the high, and where you want to be targeting are these lows over here. Okay, so this is the low that I want to be targeting for Ethereum at the moment. But essentially, that's kind of all I'm really looking at. It's just waiting for price to actually close below this level. If price closes below 1824, and then I'll be targeting 1769. So it's around about a 3. So let's see what happens. There is a couple of setups that we are waiting for. Obviously, it's this setup here, 𝗕𝗓𝗠𝗠𝗘𝗥𝗦, a Uniswap, sorry, and this setup here for Chainlink, looking at a potential sell below here, and then this setup over here for Ethereum. So we do have a couple setups that we are waiting for. So we just have to be patient here and wait for the setup to happen. We're gonna have to wait for the closure of the higher time frame. So if you look at the 30-minute chart, it's obviously not really doing much. It's come up back to the support zone, and it's retraced back to this level. But the thing is, there's not enough confirmation. We have to actually wait for the 6-hour or the 4-hour chart to close below here, and that is closing in the next 46 minutes. So once we get a closure below the zone, then it will be valid to take some positions back down to 1769. But yeah, that's currently what I'm looking at. The thing is, we have to wait for the higher time frame. We can't just go now just because it looks bearish, right? We have to wait for the 4-hour or the 6-hour charts, and they're actually both closing in 46 minutes. So once we get that candle to close below the zone at 1824, then we can obviously take some positions. But until then, you can't really take any positions. Because essentially what's going to happen is we could just bounce from the zone. And in order for me to take a sell, we have to get the higher time frame confirmation. Yeah, so this is what I'm waiting for though. If you guys did just join, if you have any charts that you guys want me to go over, you can just put them in the chat, and I will be going over those charts. I've gone over a couple of setups that I'm looking at, but mainly just Chainlink, Uniswap, looking for sold Uniswap. It has to break the low though at 5.095. So this is more of the realistic one because we can wait for the orders on the side. Essentially, these are the orders that are coming in from all the exchanges. So we have Binance, OKX, Bitget. I think there's a lot of exchanges. There's Bybit. So it's pretty much all the exchanges, and it shows you all the orders that are coming in. Okay, and then at the bottom here, it shows you what's been happening. So you can see a lot of longs were liquidated shorts were liquidated at this level, and it also shows you the volume that is happening at the current time. Okay, so you can see that price is coming down, and it broke the structure on the 30-second chart. Obviously, the 30-second is a low time frame, but this gives you a lot of value because it shows you all the big orders. And what you can do is you can kind of adjust this, right? So a lot of big sell orders, 1.2 million, 1 million, are all coming in at lower prices here at 450, 433, 421. So those, once we break this level here at 433, we should see quite a bit of selling pressure in the market, okay? But yeah, alternatively, we might be able to take a temporary long position on the 5 minutes. Remember, this is based on the 5-minute chart, so it will be a very short trade. Remember, the overall bias is bearish. Okay, so that is why on the higher time frames we will be looking at more shorts, but on the lower time frames, there could be a potential for long position. But yeah, overall, it does look like price is going to come back down here. So yeah, if there's any charts you guys want me to go over, just put them in the chat. Because obviously I can't go through every single chart, but obviously I want to be going over the charts that you guys are obviously trading. Okay. This is a very, very nice trade for Ethereum. Once we get this 4-hour candle closure, it's got quite a long way to go. Your take profit 1 would be at 1808. Your take profit 2 would be at this wick over here at 1789. And your take profit 3 would be at 1769. Okay, so this would be your TP1. Your TP2 would be over here. And then your TP3 would be at 1769. Okay, so yeah, those are the setups I'm looking at. This Chainlink one is very, very nice. This would be your TP1 at 6.3. So your TP1 would be here. And then your TP2 would be at the low. Okay. It would be at these levels. Yeah, so if you guys have any other coins, just let me know. I can go over pretty much all of the setups. Obviously now I will take a look at Solana because a lot of people do trade Solana. So let's take a look at Solana and see if we can find anything. Yeah, we actually did take a nice trade on Solana. I think it was yesterday, right? We took a trade based on this trend line break, took profit at this 0.382 level, and obviously yesterday we had that massive pump, and then we had that dump because of the liquidations. But let's have a look at the higher time frames here. So on the higher time frames for Solana, let's have a look at the daily quickly. I mean, obviously this is very bearish, right? There's nothing bullish about this at all. Okay, so for me, why would you be looking for a long position for Solana? There's no reason to actually look for a long position here. The only reason you would look for a long is if you actually close back above this level here at 20.6. Okay, but that's obviously not happening. If you look at the 1-hour chart, yeah, the 1-hour chart is actually printing this low here. Okay. This level over here at 20.53. If price breaks below here, you could take a nice short back down to. I mean, your stop loss is only 0.663, where your take profit would be this low over here. Okay, and that's around about a 2.58% gain. Your risk to reward is 1:4 here, so it's a very, very nice risk to reward. And yeah, this is something I will be looking at for Solana. It looks like we are getting a push down here. Let's take a look what's happening here. So yeah, you can see that a lot of the sell orders are kicking in now. We do have a lot more selling volume in the market. There was obviously this green candle over here. If we take a look at the liquidations, let's put this on the highest. Yeah, there hasn't really been much liquidations in the past 32 minutes, but essentially, that's kind of why we wait for the higher time frames. Yeah, so if Bitcoin breaks this 27,418 level, then we can obviously look at potential sells. But the thing is, it needs to actually break this low here, because if you look left here, if you look at my mouse, what is actually happening? This was our low at the market, so you can see we made a low here, tapped into this low, and then we tapped into it again. Okay, so essentially, this is something that I'm waiting for. I mean, it's not 100% like what I will be looking at, but it gives you another confirmation that price may be coming down. Okay, and then obviously for Ethereum, we're going to be looking at this sell. But until then, we can't really do much. Yeah, I mean, if you guys did just join, essentially we are bearish and we're waiting for price to close below 26,800. And if price closes below this level on the daily chart, you have a massive, massive drop to around about this zone over here. Okay, it's around about a 7% move. So 25K is the level that I will be looking at for potential long position as well. Okay, so you could look at a potential long at that zone, but for now, I'm not really looking at anything. We just need to wait for price to close below that zone. And then this is the dollar index. So what the dollar shows you is whatever happens to the dollar, the opposite happens to crypto, right? So because the dollar is looking bullish and we're seeing a temporary bounce for the cryptos, but if this dollar chart actually closes above this white line, we may see a massive, massive drop. So also for Bitcoin here, there is this trend line that price is respecting. So if price closes above here at this level over here, then I'll be looking at a potential long. But the thing is, I am bearish, so I wouldn't really want to be taking longs. But yeah, and this is Chainlink. Chainlink, this setup, if you must keep an eye on this setup, because essentially this is going to be a 6% move. And what we're waiting for here is a closure below this orange line. If we see a candle close below here, then it's going to be very, very valid, and we'll see a potential move back down to this wick, which is around about 2.3%. And then the intake profit down here would be around about 6%. So this move is definitely something to take note of. Okay. So let's see what happens here. I mean, it's something that I'm looking at. The higher time frames are pointing in that direction. UD swap, also same thing. Once we close below 5.094, then we can look at a potential sell back down to the lows here. Okay, so these are all based on the higher time frames. And obviously, once Bitcoin breaks this low at 27, 418, then obviously we can take some positions. The dollar kind of needs to break above this trend line in order for all these positions to be valid, because if the dollar starts to pump, we're probably going to see quite a big dump. And because all the cryptos are at their support levels, this would be a massive, massive dump back down to lower time frames. So this Chainlink trade is definitely something I will be taking. And once we actually close below the zone, then price will actually come back down to these lower lows. Okay. So just be aware of the current situation, that we are obviously bearish. And because we are bearish, we have to just be looking for shorts, right? And whenever you be trading, you have to be looking at the higher time frames, because the higher time frames will obviously tell you what is actually happening in the market. Okay. So make sure to actually put these levels on your chart. And the thing is, with these levels, you have to wait for the 4-hour candle to close. Yeah. If it closes bearish, then obviously it sells. Let's have a look at crypto bubbles though. See what's happening here, because this will also give us an indication of what's happening in the market. So you can see 𝗕𝗘𝗪 is down 15%. HEX is actually up 18% within the day. Atom's up 4.6%. Yeah, Atom had a huge drop yesterday. So actually, have a look at Atom, because with Atom, they had a massive sell-off, and it was quite interesting. I wouldn't expect price to actually sell off that hard, but I'll show you exactly what happened. We were actually in a sell position in Atom yesterday. Low. We would only be bullish if we start breaking these highs. Okay, if price broke this high over here, then you could look for a potential, long position. But that is why we are still looking on the bearish side. And if you have a look at this level over here, this is a new low that was formed yesterday. So let's actually look at this on the lower time frames, because it looks like it is forming a doji. Yeah. So if you look at the lower time frames here quickly, on the 1-hour chart, we could look at a potential sell here. Once we start closing, once we close below this zone at 10.767, we'll actually take a sell position, because that is the most recent low. And once you get a closure below this level, it will be valid back to take shorts back down to these lows over here. Okay. Your stop loss would have to be above this wick over here, and then that would be a valid setup. Yeah. So yeah, this is something that I'm looking at. But yeah, let's just go over those setups again. The thing is, I'm not gonna stream until the hourly close, because the thing is, I'm only waiting for that to happen. But I will. What I've done now is I've given you all of these setups, and if the 4-hour candle closes below these zones, then it's obviously valid to take some shorts. Okay. So just make sure you draw all these levels on your charts. And if you want to go back, you can actually go back on the stream, just so you have these levels. Okay. But yeah, those are the setups. So I'll go over them again. So Chainlink, looking for sells below 6.456. Once we get a 4-hour closure below here, which is happening in the next 29 minutes, then we'll take sells. Then obviously we have Uniswap sells below this zone after the 15 minutes. So this is the 15-minute candle closure. Litecoin looking for sells below here. This is on the 4-hour chart and the 1-hour chart. Okay. So if the 4-hour chart closes below here, then it's most likely going to carry on to the downside. But it looks like we are getting a temporary bounce. And then obviously Ethereum, we're waiting for the 4-hour closure below here. So if we get a 4-hour closure below this area, then we will take some sells. Yeah, so those are the setups. We've gone over a couple. If you did just join, then I would suggest going back and just taking a look at these setups, because that's pretty much all that's presenting in the market. There's no real long opportunities. Yeah, if you look at the 5-minute on crypto bubbles here, we are getting a temporary bounce. Okay, so but that doesn't really mean anything. We have to wait for the higher time frame. If you look at the 50-minute, FTT is doing quite well. Hex is actually up 4.9%. Matic is up 0.4%. Obviously, it's recovered a bit from yesterday. Let's see what happens here for Bitcoin. I'll keep Bitcoin on because this is the trend line that has to break. If it doesn't break this trend line, then obviously we're gonna come back down here. We'll start forming new lows. If we close below here on the 5-minute, then it could be valid to take sells. So yeah, this is Bitcoin on the 5-minute chart. Essentially looking for a potential short below here. Yeah. Potential short below here. Or potential long. So this is based on just the trend line, okay? So if price closes above this trend line, then we can take some potential longs back up to these highs and a potential short back down to this low over here, okay? But we have to wait for price to close. Okay. So if you guys did just join, this is the setup that we're waiting for. Hopefully we will be activated. Overall, I'm still gonna wait for those higher time frame sells. It's interesting to see here. We have a look at Twitter here. They did post. I'll grab this tweet for you guys off screen, and I posted to you guys here. So what is actually happening is I'll get that liquidation alert. Yeah, the US actually sold 200 million Bitcoin yesterday. So that's why we had that massive crash. But yeah, at the moment, there's not much that's showing in the market. We're just waiting for these two positions. So we're waiting for a sell below this level here. Once we get a 5-minute candle to close below here, we'll take some shorts. Obviously, the stop loss is based on wherever the top wick is. And then over here, we'll look for a long, but I don't see that happening. Looks like there's no volume in the market at the moment. So if the next 5 minutes, if we don't get a closure here for Bitcoin, we might have to just call the stream. But because there hasn't been much volume, today's been very, very rangy. So what that means is price is just ranging between two zones. Yeah. Yeah, so we can't really, there's no real direction on the lower time frames. Obviously the higher time frames are bearish, but the lower time frames are obviously they're indecisive, bro. So let's wait and see for this. If you look at crypto bubbles, we obviously see that bounce. If Bitcoin breaks these highs over here at on this chart, which is the 30-second chart, if it breaks these highs at around about 27,461, then obviously we might be in that position. But until that happens, there's not much we can do. I was hoping that price would start picking up, but we would have to probably wait for New York session. And until New York session, there's really not much we can do. I'm gonna take this long position away because I don't think it's gonna happen. I'd rather go for the sell. Because the long position is just based on a trend line break, whereas the sell is based on the daily time frame, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 30 minute, and the 15. So it's all confirmations that price will probably come down. So you want to be trading with that in mind. What's nice of this, you can actually put it to the 5-second chart. So also the 1 second. So if I put it to the 5-second, it shows you each candle is 5 seconds. So it's obviously, it doesn't really mean anything, but it's nice to look at. This is pretty much the only trade that I'm looking at on the lower time frames. All the rest are based on the higher time frames, the 1 hour and the 4 hour chart. But on the lower time frames, this is pretty much all that's presenting itself. Looks like we will get activated within the next hour. Looks like price is obviously coming down here. But if we don't get activated in the next 5 minutes for Bitcoin here, then obviously I'm not gonna stay until the 4 hour. But essentially you must look for this to happen. So for Solana, right, we're looking for sells below here. So in 17 minutes, if price closes below this area, then take sells back down to this low at 20. At 20 on the dot, yeah, 20 on the dot. Chainlink sells below this level, Uniswap, sorry, back down to 5.054. Chainlink back down to $6. This is more of a higher time frame play on the daily and the 4 hour chart. Bitcoin, you know, it's just based on the 5-minute chart. It looks like we could be activated here soon. We would have to wait for the closure. Yeah, Solana is actually starting to come down now. Let's have a look at the 15-minute to see what we can see here. Yeah, the 15-minute. Yeah, if the 15-minute does close below the zone, we could see a potential dump here. But yeah, I don't think I will stay for the full hour. I'll probably leave in the next couple of minutes. But yeah, if you guys did like the stream, obviously we didn't take any trades, but I kind of just wanted to tell you my general bias, and the bias is obviously bearish. So I'm expecting the 25K level to get hit, but that's only just based on that 26,800 zone. If that 26,800 level gets broken, then we can take souls back down to that level, back down to 25K. But if it doesn't get broken, then we will see a bounce from the zone. Okay. So yeah, those are all the setups. If you guys did miss the setups, you can just go back in the stream, and you can just take a screenshot of them or put them on your charts. But those are pretty much all of the setups that I have for today. Cool. Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining. I do appreciate everyone joining. But yeah, see you guys. I think on Monday I'll have another stream. I won't do a stream tomorrow, but on Monday I will do another stream. And remember to look at videos I post every single day on the YouTube Shorts. And then within tomorrow, I will be uploading 8 educational videos. So make sure you watch all of those.